Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on mysterious and weird, true stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 407, written by the New D.O., a peculiar ensemble of characters on this elevator ride. I was on the ground level of a hospital where I was temporarily working for a month. I pressed the elevator call button. The elevator doors opened on the ground floor. No sublevels. There were 3 other people in the elevator. I waited for a second for them to get off, to not be rude and enter while they're trying to leave. No one got off. I thought, maybe the elevator just came down a level to get me and they'll all be going back up? No other floors are selected on the call buttons. There is a man facing the buttons, standing only a few inches away. I asked him, 4th floor, please? He does nothing. A woman, standing directly behind him, is talking to the back of his head in a language I don't recognize. I've been to 13 countries and I understand a decent handful of Spanish. I think, maybe he doesn't understand what I'm saying? I gesture, excuse me. He doesn't move. I press the button for the 4th floor. No other buttons are pressed. I think, well, looks like we're all going to the 4th floor. The 3rd person, a young woman, is standing with her back to the elevator door facing the rear. There is not a rear exit. Some elevators have 2 doors. We made it to the 4th floor. No one departs except me. No other buttons are pressed. I step outside the elevator. The doors close and the elevator doesn't move. Out of curiosity, I press the button to go up a level. The doors open and the strangers are as I left them. The 2 still having a conversation in a foreign language. The woman talking to the back of the man's head. The 2nd woman was staring at the back of the elevator. I stare at them until the doors close. No one even acknowledges me. The doors close. I run to where I'm going because I'm already late. What the hell just happened? Case file number 408, written by xxscorpio, a uniquely perceptive child, and a dead fish on the floor. So I'm babysitting my friend's kids, who I'm close to and watch pretty often. The boy, who is 8, loves to build Angry Bird levels out of blocks and stuff. He likes me to record him on my phone so he can watch himself talk and make these levels. Kids. So anyways, he's telling me what he's doing and making sure I'm getting everything in the video because Angry Bird's levels are serious business. Suddenly he stops and says, "Make sure to get the fish. Look at it. Get it in the video." At this point, I have no clue what the kid is talking about, but he keeps looking down at the floor where obviously there isn't a fish. I decided to go along with him and pretend to get the fish in the video. Fast forward a couple of hours later and we're hanging out in Walmart, just walking around to waste some time. We start walking down the pet aisle and he stops suddenly. He's in front of me, so I kind of bump into him. "You okay, bub?" I ask. I walk around him and look down to see where he's staring at. There's a freaking dead fish laying on the ground, and the kid is staring at it as if in a trance. I immediately think back to earlier that day about his insistence that a fish was on the floor, although then obviously nothing was there. I tried asking him about it, but he didn't seem to want to talk about it, so I let it go. It always sort of freaked me out. Case notes, file number 408. This has me thinking about how many things kids are able to see that we as adults can't. It seems this kid has foresight. He predicted something that was going to happen, although in his mind it actually was happening at that moment. I wonder how he felt in the moment in Walmart where he saw it for him a second time. Most interesting. Bonus file, written by lyricmeowmeow. This home wasn't haunted, it was cursed. It was August when I moved in. At the time, my mother had been suffering from multiple health issues for months and had to be in and out of different hospitals fairly often. She and my father slept in different bedrooms since she had grown more and more agitated about my father's loud snoring. In the months that I stayed with them, my mother's bedroom always made me feel a bit uncomfortable. She had rose-pink organza drapes hanging around the canopy bed, and the room did not get much direct sunlight, since its only window faced the northeast. I never wanted to stay there longer than 15 minutes. Due to her illness, my mother lost more than 30 pounds and weighed a mere 85 pounds by the end of October. She had all these antibiotic-resistant infections affecting multiple organs. Her doctors were extremely puzzled and couldn't pinpoint what the actual causes were. It was heart-wrenching to see my mother slowly withering into an extremely frail and depressive person. At one point, she even thought that she was dying. In the early of December, one of my mother's cousins came over to the house for the first time and was very concerned about my mother's bedroom immediately. It's full of messy energies, as she described how she felt, and said it gave her a bad headache as soon as she entered the bedroom. That got my parents' attention. My mom's cousin informed my parents that she knew someone special who might be able to help with my mother's odd illness. The person was a medicine man / feng shui master. Running out of options, my parents agreed to invite the master to the house the following week. I was home with them on the day the master arrived. He instructed my father to remove all the wooden statues my father had collected over the years. You can put them in the garage or storage room, definitely not in your living space, the master claimed. According to him, each of those statues carried their own chaotic energies and were not the friendly ones. When he entered my mother's bedroom, he shook his head in disbelief, told us that there were things he did not like, and that he needed to get rid of them ASAP. He handed my father a hulu, calabash in Chinese, used by traditional medicine men / women as containers for various substances. The master told my father to leave it at my mother's bedroom with the lid open, and then we waited. That was in the late afternoon. My father and the master's assistant were at work moving the wooden statues from the house to the garage, while my mother rested in the guest bedroom with me. Around dinner time, my mother started to develop a horrible panic attack. She was extremely jittery, short of breath, and could not stop scratching her chest. She told me it felt like something was inside her chest and that she needed to get it out. I had never seen my mother that way. Her face and chest were beet red, and she acted like a wounded, angry animal. Scared and alarmed, I ran to the garage to tell everyone what was going on. The master yelled out, "We've got something!" He instructed my father to retrieve the hulu from my mother's bedroom and put the lid back on. My father followed the order and brought out the hulu, then handed it to the master. Right after that, my mother's panic attack subsided quickly, like nothing had ever happened. Her face and chest returned to her normal pale, fair tone, with visible red scratch marks she had done to herself just moments ago, and she was calm. The master grabbed the hulu and stared at it for a while, then closed his eyes before declaring that we caught it. What was in the hulu? We all wanted to know. According to the master, it seemed to be a type of black magic, an ill-intended spell that someone had casted onto the house. However, my mother was not necessarily the target. It was only because she had a weak immune system to begin with that made it easy for the bad energy to attach onto her. Strangely, after that unexplainable event, my mother's health was improving day by day. The next spring, she regained her health. Even the doctors were amazed by it. No, my parents did not tell the doctors what had happened with the master, since they didn't think the doctors would believe them after all. That was more than 10 years ago. Until today, we still have zero idea what the hell was going on. I am just feeling grateful that my mother is still with us, with good health and all. And they still live in that house happily and peacefully. Case notes. I think this is the first cursing of a home that I've read, especially one that was actually cured after the fact. The whole feng shui thing is not something I have any knowledge or mastery of, so I can't say much on that. All I will say is that it certainly does seem by your description that whatever he did, whatever energy he captured, did actually solve the problem. If your mother's health immediately improved after, well, it could be a coincidence, but it seems unlikely, doesn't it? Fascinating. Just another angle of things that I'm not entirely aware of, but hey, the world is massive, and who knows what's out there.